Hey everyone, this is Jack and Clayton, and this video is about how to stop attracting narcissists. Now, this word gets bandied around a lot.
It does.
Right? And we just want to start this video by saying if you've been involved in any kind of narcissistic abuse, it's common, it's widespread, and it's horrible. And so nothing that we're saying here is in any way about sort of exonerating or honoring narcissists. Right? We're just saying there might be some things that you can do on your side of the fence that make you less susceptible.
Yes.
Even if it's marginally less susceptible. And that is the intent of this video.
Totally. Yeah, and I want to just throw in there that I've had a couple mentors in the past in the therapeutic field who have said things like 4 out of 5 people that come to them with relationship problems, whether they're healing from a relationship, whether they're really confused in a relationship, it's actually the result of borderline and narcissistic abuse.
Wow.
And it might actually be that the person doesn't know really what's going on because it can be so confusing to be in the field of somebody that is a narcissist for an extended period of time.
Wow.
That it turns you upside down, and it can really have you questioning which way is up and which way is down and what to do from there. So again, the purpose of this video is to help move the needle a bit. And
and you know, by the way, I think we're also holding, like, you know, we're not diagnostic experts for narcissism. We're holding that there's probably a spectrum here, right?
Yes.
So that, and also given the statistic you've just mentioned, that there's probably some element of this that you may come up against in your dating.
Yeah.
Right? Even if it's that someone occasionally has somewhere on that spectrum of tendency towards being narcissistic.
Right.
So kind of pay attention, because it would be unlikely that this won't either have affected you or may affect you at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'd love to do is, why don't we get into the actual 3 ways in which you can protect yourself and kind of inoculate yourself against these things from occurring. So what would be the first step?
Well, I think the first step is about recognizing in yourself any places that you have poor boundaries, or any places that you might be susceptible to codependence.
Yes.
And codependence is kind of its own topic. I don't think we're going to kind of break that out too much here. And it's also its own thing that you might need to be in your own kind of healing and get the right kind of support around. But the essence of this is noticing if you have a tendency to feel responsible for other people's feelings.
Yes.
Right? And there's a difference between being available for someone's feelings and being responsible for them.
I love that.
Like, you don't have to fix or solve someone else's feelings. It's not your fault. You're not going into an orientation of blame or guilt around what someone else is feeling.
Right. Yeah, because that's a way in, right? If you feel that you are somehow responsible and open to feeling guilty for the way someone else feels, that's a point where you can be manipulated. So if you identify yourself as a fixer, a healer, or someone who's trying to save somebody that you're dating, you see the deep potential in them and you think that you can love them in a way that nobody else can and finally get through to them, that's a clear red flag to really slow down and get present to what is the game that is beginning to unfold and bring a little bit more consciousness to it. And just slow down.
Totally.
Yeah.
So kind of going into point number 2, one of the things that can make what Clayton's talking about difficult, the slowing down, is the tendency on the front end of getting into a relationship with a narcissist is their tendency to love bomb.
Yes.
Right? By which we mean the way that they may pour and lavish attention and good things on you.
Yep.
And you may have the experience early in a relationship with a narcissist that actually it feels really good.
The most amazing thing that you've ever
It might be
felt.
the best thing that you've ever felt in love. Like, finally, I found the kind of love that I wanted.
Yep. So the invitation here is to begin to identify the fantasy or the story that you might be wrapped in around what you think this kind of divine or pure love is going to look like with somebody, and begin to wake up to that, wake up from that fantasy so you can be more in contact and more in relationship with the reality of what's happening rather than your story. Because when you're sleeping, when you're in love with the fantasy of what this thing could turn into, and you're got all of these chemicals flowing through you, and it can be disorienting, and it can have you make decisions from a place where you're not fully grounded.
Totally.
And so the invitation is that when you start to feel those things, because falling in love is a beautiful thing, and it can feel like you're going out of control, is to slow down.
Yeah.
Is to slow down and find yourself and continue to come back to yourself, connect with yourself, which is actually a point that you'll make here in a moment around
That's a great segue.
Yeah.
So point 3 of how to stop attracting narcissists is actually about being with yourself.
Yeah.
And noticing when you come into contact with someone, if we were going to assign percentages to the balance of attention, how much are you over there with them and how much are you back here with you?
Yeah.
And by the way, this is great practice for any of us, even outside of the realm of narcissism, is just to really pay attention and notice how much are we with ourselves when we're in the presence of other people? How much are we with ourselves when we're in the presence of no one? Like, can we fully be with ourselves, our own feelings, our own desires, our own boundaries, our own opinions, our own preferences? Like, how much do you know the particularity of yourself and what it is that you really want?
Yeah. And this stops you from being a chameleon in
Right.
relationship to the narcissist, because there's a video that we created a little while back called The 7 Archetypes that Attract and Sabotage Love, where one of the roles is a chameleon. And if you feel like you are shape-shifting to become whatever the other person needs, you're actually open to attracting a narcissist, because if you think about what is the reciprocal of the chameleon, and
Right.
it's someone that has perhaps such a strong sense of self that they're okay with everything being about them.
Right.
All the time. And so as you do what Jack's saying here, is become more in touch with your wants, your needs, your boundaries, holding true to those, you become less susceptible and less attractive to the narcissist.
Yeah, it's this basic idea that runs through a lot of our work, which is that in order to keep a certain dynamic in place, there's a kind of reciprocal role or participation that's required. So we're saying the more that you are fully in your power, it's not impossible that you might attract a narcissist. We're just saying it's less likely because there's kind of less of a site for that person to kind of fixate or to kind of solve a problem in your life. There's no real place for them to easily find themselves in the narcissist dynamic with you.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking...
Anyway, enough about me. What do you think of me?
Yeah, let me go ahead and just turn the camera on Jack right now. So, if you found anything that we were saying intriguing and it seems helpful, and you'd like to continue on this path of self-discovery and becoming the best version of yourself that can attract an equal partner that sees you.
Absolutely.
A partner that you can see them and really support each other with mutuality and compatibility.
Each other.
Yeah, and challenge each other. We want to invite you to a webinar called The 3 Keys to Creating and Keeping a High-Quality Man. Not creating a high-quality man. You can actually create a high-quality man, but attracting a high-quality man and keeping him in your life. The link for this webinar is below the video. You can go ahead and click it, and you can register for a time that works for you. Anything you want to say about it?
We've had rave reviews.
Yeah.
We love doing it. It's probably the hardest thing that we've worked at together. Like, we spent a lot of time refining the content, and it's super powerful. I would just kind of challenge you to spend, it's about 75 minutes to spend that time with us and not find something that's of use to you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so go ahead and click on the link below this video, and we will see you there.
Thanks so much.